some of the faculty from U of A, as well as faculty from Dene, and the students and their family members. And it was just a blessed time to be together. And just to remind you of the purpose of this program, it was to initiate an educational collaboration between the University of Arizona and Dene, and was supposed to be laboratory-based research if there's no COVID pandemic, and laboratory-based research in neuroscience. So when we started, that was our goal. These are the interns, and these are some pictures they provided with me and some quotes from their application to say why they want to do this. And I don't know if you guys, interns remember this, but Kathleen hoped to assist in brain research, and neuroscience is her passion. Lissa wanted to learn about the brain because of her experience with traumatic brain injury. Angeline's just curious about everything and wants to further her knowledge. And Wyatt wanted to learn more about the field of neuroscience. And I think he's developed an interest and a passion for that now. And so each of these people will be telling their own stories as they start their presentations. I just wanted you to see why they applied for this program. And so we had the kickoff meeting, and then we had journal clubs throughout the year. This was led by Myra Soto and Caitlin Haskey. Caitlin is just an amazing young woman with a lot of patience, wisdom, and tenacity, as well as scientific understanding. And she's been instrumental in this program being what it was this year. And Myra, she's always had a passion for undergraduate education, underserved populations, and she's a skilled and patient teacher as well. And she left recently to go into industry. She'll be missed by us, but she put so much into developing both the winter program and the summer program. And I just wanted to thank her, even though she's not on the line, she's working. This is what happened during a winter mini course where Myra went up and stayed in the dorms with the interns and Caitlin and Fred for a week to do hands-on training, kind of introduce some research questions and professional development and ethics. And it was exhausting, but she just talked for hours and hours about her time with you and how special and you guys were, and how she really appreciated getting to know you. But then, and misspelling, COVID happened. And so we needed to have an alternative plan for a summer lab experience and research. And we had very little time to get it started. So right when we knew we weren't going to be able to do it, the journal clubs shifted from scientific methods to medical informatics papers. Also during that, something that I really cherished, and I'm sad that this virus had to come to cause the discussions, but we had extensive talks about SARS-CoV-2 virus and the COVID pandemic and what the students can do to educate and protect their community. I didn't put this in here, but SIBS did do a supply drive to, for the interns and their families, being that they're in remote places, and that was a real pleasure to be able to participate in as well. And then a rush to plan the summer, and it took a village. I'm showing you my village, but Myra took the lead on the plan of the course of the study, and then we recruited an army of people with the support of Dr. Brenton and her team members. And I'm going to show you in these slides, over 25 people from the U of A participated in the summer program, which is amazing to get people at the last minute to do that. So introducing the mentors, Georgina I didn't add, but Faylene was mentored by Eugene Kim in Dr. Brenton's lab, and Georgina in Dr. Brenton's lab, graduate student. Alyssa was mentored by an MD PhD student, Greg Brannigan, and Greg was actually instrumental in helping all of the students with their projects. The main mentor for Wyatt was Austin Hallquist, and he's a new technician in the lab, but his amazing superpower is he's getting a master's in medical informatics, so he was our truly trained person in this group. And then David Bradford, a technician in my lab who's going to graduate school in a couple of weeks, was Angie's mentor. And then we had medical students as resources, so because this is medical informatics and we're asking clinical questions, and each of these students were involved in interviews initially by the students as they're trying to think about their projects, and then to ask questions as we went along. And Alyssa probably had the most interaction. She had 2 interviews with the medical students, and she actually interviewed a clinician, Dr. Pendergrass here, an endocrinologist here at U of A. So those were resources to the students as well. And then there were our lectures. These are just a list of them, and I'm going to be sending them thank you gifts at the end. But some of the most special ones, Dr. Wojtek is a Native American neuroscientist from UCSD, and he's a data scientist. Larry Mandarino is a fabulous endocrinologist. He's chief of endocrinology. He talked about diabetes and metabolic diseases. We had a neurologist, Dr. Larry Stein, talk about neurodegenerative diseases. Fei Yin, a person in SIBS, talked about the underlying metabolic changes that happen and how they contribute to neurodegenerative disease. Then we talked about neuroimmunology, specifically around stroke by Dr. Christian Doyle. And then Austin gave a talk on statistics and their use in population studies. Dr. Solomon, who's one of our members of our advisory board, brought together a great group of people to talk about healthcare disparities in Native American populations and data sets relative to Native American populations. We had a neurologist who's an inpatient neurologist come and talk about clinical assessment and working with patients with dementia. And then we had somebody from the law school, Dr. Stephanie Russo-Carroll, talked about Indigenous governance and data sovereignty. And then tomorrow at 10, Dr. Begay will be talking about his research in behavioral, and it's not in behavioral testing in rodents. I missed that. He'll be talking about his research in historical trauma and its effects on health today. And then this is my village that helped along the way with different aspects that aren't named, but most in particular, the red box around Dr. Brenton, who was so supportive of allowing her group to give their time to make this happen. And I just want to say thank you to all, and I really appreciate it. So Fred, you have half the time.
I just wanted to thank you all for the time and resources that you've put into making the summer project happen. You know, Louis Pasteur said that chance favors prepared minds, and you know, we all expected that our interns would be in Tucson, experiencing the vibrancy of the University of Arizona campus and the beautiful labs that you guys are blessed to work in every day. And when the COVID situation came up, you know, there was some possibility that the summer program just couldn't happen. And we were able to make this pivot, and you guys generated a curriculum in very short order, thanks to, in large part, Myra's excellent work and understanding of the topic. But I want to emphasize that it was a blessing. The idea that our students can engage with science at a distance is very resonant with the desire of many of our students and the citizens of the Navajo Nation, that they not have to leave the Navajo Nation to be, you know, productive members of both the Navajo Nation and the wider society in the 21st century. And the idea that they can crunch numbers and do these big data sets to understand, to dig in and find new information, I think is tremendously exciting as science, but it's also tremendously exciting as an opportunity for the Navajo Nation to you know, build an infrastructure both in terms of intellectual capital, but also in terms of Diné College developing programs that continue to enhance the ability of our students to sort of telecommute. It's it would be a tremendous, maybe not quite appropriate to call it solution, but a tremendous opportunity for, you know, having a more vibrant economy on the Navajo Nation, you know, with the potential for our students to interact with the big tech companies and have some level of accomplishment and employment in those kind of spheres. So thank you all very much. Your efforts have borne fruit, as you're going to hear today. But you know, there's certainly more work to do, and I would invite any of you and all of you, should there come a point in your career where you would like to live in the Four Corners region for 6 months or a year or 3 months, you know, whatever you might like to spend with us, you know, teaching classes or teaching one-on-one with students to introduce them to different areas of science that, you know, frankly, Diné College doesn't have a big enough faculty and doesn't have the kind of resources that we can present all of the opportunities to our students. So we would invite you right now and any time in the future to give me a call, and Diné College will host you, and we might even give you some cornmeal and some blue corn pollen to support your work up at Diné College. So thank you again, and congratulations to our interns, and thanks to all of your mentors.